Have you ever had one of those moments where you knew you should say something, you had the insight, you had a point you wanted to make, but by the time you were ready, the conversation had moved on? And later you think, ugh, I had it. Why didn't I say it at the time? If that's you, you are not alone and you are not bad at visibility or speaking up for yourself. You just need language you can reach for without feeling braggy, salesy, or like you're putting on a performance. This is the third and final video in my series, Career Visibility for Introverts, Influence Without Exhaustion. In the first two videos, we talked about a calm, consistent visibility rhythm that actually fits how we introverts are wired. Today, we're getting even more practical. I'm Stacy Chazen, founder of the I Factor, and I help quiet professionals unlock their influence, impact, and income by leaning into the strengths they already have. Before we start, I'm going to offer you one reframe. Self-promotion typically sounds like, look at me. Whereas strategic visibility, which I'm teaching you today, sounds like, here's what I moved forward and why it matters. You're not trying to get attention, you're creating clarity so that your colleagues, manager, and other decision makers can connect your name to outcomes. Today I'm going to give you 3 exact phrases you can use, word for word, so you don't have to hunt for the right language in the moment. And here's the key. Each phrase works because it's not about you trying to impress people, it's about you helping the team think better, move faster, and stay aligned. Let's get started. The first phrase is for when you want to speak up without having to interrupt or fight for airtime in a meeting. If you've been listening, processing, and you have something valuable to add, you say, I'd like to add a perspective that hasn't been mentioned yet. So let's say you're in a team meeting and everyone is debating how to roll out a change. They're talking about timelines, tools, logistics. You've been listening and you realize the real issue isn't how to implement. It's that the team hasn't aligned on what success looks like. That's when you say, I'd like to add a perspective that hasn't been mentioned yet. And then you add in one calm sentence, I think we need to define what success looks like before we finalize the plan. That's not you being loud, that's you being clear. And clarity like that is leadership. Okay, the next phrase is for when something important got missed and the group is moving on anyway. This is one of the most powerful leadership moments for introverts because it's not speaking more, it's protecting the quality and integrity of the discussion. Here's the phrase. Before we move on, I want to highlight something important from earlier. You might need this phrase during a meeting where the group is choosing between 2 priorities, let's say. And someone says, okay, sounds like we're aligned, let's move on. But you noticed one key piece never got answered. For example, who is actually owning the decision or what the trade-off is. That's when you say, before we move on, I want to highlight something important from earlier. And then, we haven't clarified who owns the final decision. Can we lock that in before we switch topics? Again, this isn't self-promotion. This is you making sure the team doesn't create avoidable confusion later. And you're the one preventing that from happening. And then phrase number 3 is for when you want to be visible as a leader without self-promoting in a cringy way. This one positions you as collaborative, grounded, and forward-thinking. The phrase is, what would be most helpful for me to move this forward? Let's say a project is stuck. People might be going back and forth in Slack or email. There are a lot of opinions, but no movement. You don't want to jump in with a long speech or look like you're campaigning for control, let's say. You just want to be useful and visible in the right way. That's when you say, what would be most helpful for me to move this forward? And then you can offer something concrete like, I can summarize decisions and open questions into a one-pager, or I can draft the next step plan. What would help most? That phrase does 2 things at once. 1, it makes you visible as someone who takes ownership. And 2, it keeps the spotlight on outcomes, not your ego. It's a simple way to lead without feeling like you're putting on a show. Okay, so let's put these phrases to work with your introvert power practice for this week. Pick one of these phrases and write it on a sticky note before your next meeting. Then use it once, not 3 times, not in every conversation, just once. Because you don't have to speak more often, just at the right times and in ways that count. If you want more easy phrases like the 3 I shared today, go ahead and click on the link in the show notes to download my free guide, Say It So They Listen, 10 phrases that help introverts speak with strength and show up as leaders. Thanks for watching this series. Until next time, power on.